Welcome to another episode of How To with Mia and Ziad. If you aren't already, make sure that you're subscribing to our YouTube channel and that you're following us on all of our other social media accounts so that you're not missing any content that we are putting out. I really hope that you've been enjoying the episodes that we've put out so far, and please, we want to hear your suggestions, so leave them in the comments section of anything that you want us to talk about or clarify, or if you have any questions of any kind. Today we're going to be talking about a whole array of things. We are going to be talking about the overall economic standpoint of the U.S. economy. We're going to be talking about changes in investment strategies under Biden administration, and we're going to be talking about our outlook, for 2021 and beyond. So I hope that you enjoyed this episode. Stay with us. Of course, everything that we'll be talking about is not supposed to be taken as personal advice. If you have questions about your specific situation, please contact your financial advisor. But with that, let's get to it, Z.
That's right. With the recent election coming to a close and the inauguration this morning, we've naturally been receiving a lot of questions on how this change in political power is going to affect the investment and financial landscape. We want to take this episode just to highlight some major details that you should be paying attention to as we enter this new term. So what happened in the election? Well, first and foremost, we saw Democratic candidate Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris win the presidential election, giving the Democrats power in the president's office. In the House of Representatives, we saw Democrats take a majority of the seats there as well, winning 222 representatives over the Republicans' 211. And then in the Senate, we saw a 50-50 split. A major reason behind that being the Georgia Senate election runoff that extended into January, with both Jon Ossoff and Raphael Warnock winning Democratic seats for the Senate. Now, while there is a 50-50 split in the Senate, Vice President Kamala Harris does serve as a tiebreaker vote, and so that gives the Democrats a majority stake in there as well. So we saw a Democratic sweep, something that is going to give the Democratic Party a lot of control over policies for the next couple of years.
There are three major policy changes that we can expect to see from a Democratic sweep. Number one would be higher taxes. Business taxes especially are expected to increase. The Tax Cut and Jobs Act of 2017 lowered top corporate taxes from 35% to 21%, but now they're likely to be raised. Other than corporate taxes, taxes on the wealthy will also probably increase. Number two is infrastructure spending. Infrastructure spending is related to clean energy, to roads and the creation of jobs, airports, and is really critical for the U.S. economy. In the 2020 election, Biden pledged to invest $2 trillion in infrastructure. So many Americans at this point have lost their jobs because of the pandemic, and we need a push to help individuals find work again. A lot of this spending is also expected to be on a semi-newer focus, which is renewable energy. Environmental regulations and labor standards, many of which were reversed under the Trump administration, are likely to be a focus. That and stimulus and vaccine distribution. Number three is pressure on big tech. There's already been a lot of momentum with cracking down on big tech. Social media platforms played an instrumental role in the recent violence at the Capitol, and we expect to see structural changes and likely more litigation for large tech names that we're familiar with. Smaller companies and mid-cap companies may start to do better under this administration as well, because the larger corporations have really done well throughout the whole pandemic, but it's the smaller businesses now that are the focus and who need support and need the help of stimulus.
Regardless of what combination of political power is in place, the market has generally gone up. Now, a lot of investors tend to prefer a gridlock state where there is a combination of power in the different areas of government, being the Senate, House of Representatives, and the President's office. This is generally because it's a lot harder to pass these more extreme policies in either direction, providing for a more business-friendly environment. However, historically, markets have actually performed the best during a blue wave or a Democratic sweep, something that we're going to be entering over the next couple of years.
Three areas that we expect to do particularly well under Democratic power is solar, EVs, and cannabis. Clean energy and a new environmental bill is going to be huge for both solar and EVs. Biden is very progressive with clean energy, and this sector will just largely benefit. Prices are also dropping when it comes to solar for personal use. So if you have solar panels on your house, it's no longer only for the wealthy. Another big sector, as I mentioned before, that we're very interested in and have been for a while is the legalization of cannabis. There's certainly a priority on expunging records, some dating all the way back to the 70s and the war on drugs. And this is another industry that could really offer a lot of jobs.
Now, with the transition in power, we are expecting another stimulus package. What is going to be included in that stimulus package? How is that going to affect the economy? Well, starting with the details of the package. First and foremost, we're expecting an extension of unemployment benefits. So if you are collecting unemployment, you're not going to only collect that original unemployment income, you're also going to be collecting an additional $400 a week on top of that. We're also expecting another round of stimulus checks. So you should be receiving an estimated $1,400 to your bank account if you are eligible. Now, in terms of determining eligibility, if you received a stimulus check before, you should be receiving it again, and it goes vice versa. If you didn't receive that stimulus check last time, you wouldn't be expecting this $1,400 as well. Now, how is this going to affect the economy? Well, with this money being pumped into the system, people have an increased ability to buy, have a more purchasing power. So with this additional ability to buy things, we are expecting an increase in price as well. We're expecting inflation to rise too. Now, we haven't seen inflation rise too much, but with such an influx of money into our economic system, lots of money being printed, it's only natural for prices to go up. So keep an eye out on prices and check and see if they are continuing to rise. One of the pain points that come with stimulus is student loans, student loan interest rates. Now, since March and April, public student loans have been suspended in terms of accruing interest. They've been at 0% interest since. That was set to expire on the 31st, and interest was to start accruing then, but we are expecting 0% interest to stay for longer. And also there have been talks of student loan forgiveness. Biden has mentioned potentially forgiving $10,000 in loans for each individual. Now, whether that's actually going to happen, we're going to have to wait and see.
The pandemic still poses an obvious concern to our economy. We are all staying at home at this point, and cases are worse than they've ever been before, especially here in LA. More and more industries are adapting, and that's why tech did so well to begin with, because they were really ready for a stay at home. We need a vaccine, and we need wide, effective distribution of a vaccine to reopen the economy. Still, even after the vaccine, there's going to be a lot of healing to do. Nothing is going to bounce back in a day. Many jobs are going to need to be recovered. Kids need to go back to school. Mothers who have had to leave work to teach from home will hopefully re-enter the workforce. But the first start to this is really getting a vaccine and getting America healthy.
Now, with such a large transition in power, we're expecting a lot of shakeup, whether that be financially, whether that be in the investment landscape or in the political landscape as well. And with all this shakeup, now more than ever is the time that you want to be reviewing your finances and looking at your investment allocation, making sure that's in place. This is exactly what we're here to help with. If you are looking to sit down and review your finances and investments, reach out to us. You can find us at 310-441-9393. Have a great week, everyone.
Have a great week, everyone.